Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, I guess we all predicted it. We all told Elon Musk this was actually going to end up happening, and happen it did. It's almost like when you try to get somebody that is from anybody from the World Forum or World Organization or the WHO, which would be the correct term here. You tend to get what you deserve. And, Twitter's getting it what it deserves for being stupid, just like Elon Musk. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Elon Musk has done a lot of good for Twitter and a lot of good for the platform in general, but he has made some very, very dumb decisions to where he's going to have to fire the CEO to probably, maybe fix, the issues. So we have this from the quartering. Now, these are only going to be labeled in mostly tweets because, well, it's all being reported and shown on Twitter. Nobody's really doing a report on this. Elon Musk is also keeping silent, so we need to keep a little bit of the buck here. So we have this from the quartering, from July 12th, mass censorship on Twitter. They are desperate to get advertisers back. 700,000 posts censored in a very short period of time. WEF CEO. Labels have been applied to more than 700,000 violated posts that fall under a hateful content policy. We also proactively prevent ads from appearing adjacent to content that we label. Compared to a healthy tweet, these new labels reduce the reach or impressions of violative content by 81%. More than one-third of authors proactively choose to delete the tweet after they are informed that its reach has been restricted. On average, only 4% of authors have appealed labels. 90% of all appeals receive a response within 30 minutes. So, this was happening on July 12th. And I'm assuming that the only way that that the CEO, Linda, the WEF CEO, is doing this as the quartering says, to get advertisers back. And that's the only way this person can seem to even remotely get advertisers and make it have big kind of profit. I'm going to tell you this right now, Elon Musk. If you ever so desire to specifically, do this to where you're going to get censorship on Twitter, then Twitter is going to fail as a platform. All the people that are actually paying for the actual Twitter accounts, etc., is going to make it fall and crumble. Perhaps I should do a tweet on this, and most likely I will, because that's the whole problem with Twitter in the nutshell. It promoted censorship, it did all this, and more of this stuff exposed, the less that people are going to use Twitter. And the less people are going to use Threads because it's the worst and way worse version of Twitter. But I digress. And of course, you guys are going to come in along with me and be like, oh, well, you're first going with Twitter and all the good policies it was making. And then now you're going against Twitter and saying like, oh, well, now it's bad. You can't seem to make up your mind. Well, you bloody idiot. It seems that I'm a very open-minded person and I have my own opinions and I can still criticize people even though that sometimes they're doing something good. People can do things that are good and do things that are bad. It's almost like they're human and criticism doesn't escape even though that you can promote something. Perhaps you should learn something a little bit about it. And the whole point of this is that the reason why nobody was using Twitter was because conservatives were being censored. Speech was being censored. And we all know that the things that were not being allowed was not getting through. And, of course, this is going to happen. This is happening close to where the election cycle is going to be going. So, Elon Musk, I'm hoping to realize that this is not something that's going to end up happening for the future because it doesn't look very good. Well, we have this here from the Twitter and safety. We have more than 99% of content users and advertisers see it on Twitter is healthy. And the reach of hate speech on Twitter continues to represent an extremely small fraction of the overall conversation. This past March, Twitter partnered with Sprinkler to understand, measure, and reduce hate speech using its AI-based model and to further our commitment to create a brand-safe environment for our agencies and advertisers. Today, we're sharing an update that includes all of April and May 2023. Sprinkler's independent model continues to show the reach of daily English language hate speech impressions is even lower than Twitter's own model's estimates. Sprinkler estimates the average daily number to be 0.0003% compared to Twitter's estimate of 0.012% for the period of January 1st, 2023 to May 31st, 2023. Additionally, we estimate hate speech impressions are 30% lower on average versus pre-acquisition. In June, we significantly expanded our freedom of speech, not reach policy enforcement, which dramatically reduces impressions on hateful content. And all indicators for June and July show sustained progress. Our work is ongoing. We are proud of the progress we're making in maintaining a healthy global town square that is open for everyone to be themselves. So, what this person here says, Kristen Ruby says, brand safe environment, let advertisers target users based on KW trauma. So there's trauma there that's being listed and all that. So what would be trauma? You have that. Is that really defined here? She also goes on to say that they got people hooked on one model, then made model changes that ultimately changed the structure of the AI bot relationship. They provided no transitional support to users, ultimately leaving users feeling traumatized, re the AI bot they once had a relationship with. And here's the thing. The whole problem I have with hate speech in general is because hate speech is not really, a thing. You either have freedom of speech or you don't. There's no such thing as hate speech. Because as soon as you start saying what is hate speech, what is bad, that is just another term to be used as like, oh, a word that I don't like people using, let me ban them, please. So, say for instance, trans male is a term of hate speech. Well, then guess what? That's a form that that will be later. That's a word that somebody doesn't like. Same thing with the N with the hard ER at the end. That is a word that somebody doesn't like. Now, I am not saying that people should be incentivized to be using the hard word NER or ER in any capacity. However, it's just a word that somebody doesn't like, which I would assume a majority of the populace doesn't like. But you can't censor words that people don't like. The only thing that I would say that you should ever be censored, even remotely, is in mostly child trafficking. And what I mean by child trafficking is that child trafficking in the sense of people going actively after kids in the sense of child pornography, that type of stuff. That stuff should most likely be censored and not be allowed on the public platform. However, speech of any kind, regardless of what it is, should be allowed because this allows people to be criticized. This allows people to see their nefarious ideas and things on this stuff, and it lets speech as an open discussion. Once you start censoring words, you are seeing a lot of other issues come into play. Now, we have this as well from the quartering, is that, whoa, look at all the censorship on Twitter. How come Ian Miles, Long, and others in Elon's inner circle had so much to say about Rumble removing a single video but nothing about this? Zero tolerance. Twitter has zero tolerance for content that incites violence, threatens people, violence, or wishes harm on people. On our abuse and harassment policy, Twitter restricts sharing of abusive content engaging in the targeted harassment of someone or inciting other people to do so. This includes behavior that is repeated, unrepressed, and intended to humiliate or degrade an individual with abuse or hate. Furthermore, Twitter has strong brand safety and suitability controls in place that are effective in keeping your ads safe. Our brand safety engineering team is also actively building more suitability capabilities focused on inventory filtering and pre-bidding that will be available in 2 weeks. Yeah, I do not like any of this. Because normally when people find abusive or a harassment of anybody is when somebody is being criticized of something they don't like. This is going back to, again, hate speech. If somebody doesn't like something that they're saying to them, they just, automatically go out and say that this is bad, we don't like it, so please ban it, please. And that's what the far left has been doing. And they've been actively using this type of, meaning to, or phrase, to remove people that they don't like. I don't know about this, but I don't think that you should have this any way. However, I would agree in one factor. Trying to cause harm to other people, that probably should not be a thing at all. Abusive content is, I don't really care too much about that because that's still a form of freedom of speech. Engaging and targeting are inciting other people to do so. Again, that is, again, I don't see an issue with this. The only issue that I have is when you actively, and they need to clarify this, that to actively incite violence against somebody else. Now that's a problem, and that's not even protected under the First Amendment. You can't incite violence. Then that's what they need to clarify. Inciting violence. Now, they do say that incites violence and threatens people with violence or wishes harm on people. So that is good, but again, these are becoming quite vague here under this term. We have this here with Grums. You have to look at the incentive alignments of new Twitter to know what the priority is. Ad-friendly focus, driven by new CEO who specializes in ad sales, giving advertisers power over speech. Payouts based on views and incentivizing TikTok mindless quality and behavior because it works to drive ad numbers. API changes that makes it clear Twitter is holding text data to itself while also developing adjacent AI company that needs this data. No anti-AI policy. Your tweets will feed the machine and no rev share for that. None of this is good for Twitter as for free speech platform and the money incentivizing the wrong things. Yeah. So I see a lot of issues with Twitter, and I think things need to be fixed. I'm not liking any of this, and hopefully Elon Musk can get his ass in gear and start fixing some of the issues that's beholden to Twitter. Hopefully that we can fix all these issues and have it immediately done. Now, I probably won't be putting this in the description, guys, because, well, obviously, you could probably go find these stuff relatively easy. I might put the Twitter safety thing in here. But other than that, this is all crazy stuff that not good. Not good. Censorship is still back in full force on Twitter, and I think we need to fight back this. Alright, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care.